Welcome to ECCB Connects. ECCB Connects is produced by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. In this program, Governor Antoine shares advice with the young people of the newly established St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association. Stay connected. We'll continue in a moment.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is proud to introduce Dcash, the official digital version of the EC dollar. Dcash is the safer, faster, cheaper way to send and receive payments within the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, all using your smart device. For more information, visit the ECCB's website. Dcash, coming soon.
Thanks for staying connected with us. The St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association was established in March of this year with the aim of bringing together young people from St. Kitts and Nevis, the Caribbean, and the world to develop their creativity and problem-solving skills. The association's mission is driven by STEAM education, that is, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Dr. Ricardo Neal is the founder and chairman of the St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association.
So the thinking behind establishing the St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association is to provide the young people with an avenue where they can be engaged in research and development. Why research and development? Is to ensure that we're able to secure an alternative to our GDP that we depend on here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And one of the dependency, if you will, is the tourism sector, which actually account for about approximately 62%. I feel that we need to leverage that by identifying the skill, the talent that we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and get those talents to work and begin to produce products here. And when I say product, I'm talking about on the innovation front to develop various IT application-based application. We have had students build various products, and we feel that those products can actually become something of a reality. So that would form the basis, if you will, of the St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association.
When we first decided to venture into robotics, I would have been in CFBC. This was an idea that I brought to Dr. Neal about venturing into robotics. So when he then approached me with the idea of forming the association, there was really no doubt of me joining. And then among my peers, they decide fit for me to be the one to lead them on this path of success for the association. What we've been trying to do is to implement our mandates. But before we begin with starting our mandates, what we are trying to do is assist our members with skill-based training sessions where they can develop more on the skills that they have and pick up some more skills aside from what they know, which would incorporate with STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. In addition to that, we are working on the mandates, like I did mention, which would include the St. Kitts Nevis National Robotics Challenge, which we are hoping to have next year around February. That is one of our main goals currently.
The St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association was officially launched on September 30. Delivering the featured address at the opening ceremony, Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy N.J. Antoine, shared 3 key messages with the members. Get your governance right, the business is in skills, and digitization is essential to the transformation of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union.
Get your governance right. And I start with this general point because you formed an association, and I think it's a great it's a good governance move. Governance matters. Always has, always will. And the truth is that too often we've found that good ideas and initiatives, often led by good people, flounder and fail because of the absence of good governance frameworks. The literature is replete with examples at the level of countries as well. But we don't have to even go to countries. We could look at community groups. We could look at sporting associations. We could look at churches even, companies and certainly countries, where bad governance, weak governance, led to their downfall. Only recently we would have heard of Wirecard, that very promising company in Germany that had become a major listed company on the German foreign stock exchange that has gone up in smoke. So you got to get your governance right, and I'm glad you started there. And when we think about governance, you talk about the things, how things are managed, how things are run. Clear and transparent rules of operating procedures. Fundraising, financial management, reporting, accountability. All those are part of good corporate governance. And so the association has made a good move, which I support, and I want to underscore the need for good governance there. But I also want to make the point, good governance is not just at the level of the association or the level of a company or corporate. It is also, governance is also personal. Because the thing about it is that each of us has a core and a code. Our core is our values, who we are, and our code is how we live. Core and code. And so I don't know what your values are. I haven't looked at that yet. But from even the discussion this evening, I heard things like innovation. I heard collaboration. I heard faith. You talked about faith. Now I can tell you, my top life values are faith, family, and service to others. Those three things guide everything I do. They are core and they are my code. How I live and what drives my decision making every single day. Young people, you have to have a core and a code. And even as you think about the deployment of technology, technology has to have ethical frameworks. That's why those core values are important. To what end are we developing and deploying technology? So your core and your code. So the first thing is to get your governance right. So set it up. I know you've started that. If you need professional support, reach out. We're more than happy at the ECCB to also give you guidance there. Because we want you to survive. We want you to succeed. And I believe what you've done in setting up the association is to position you to make a meaningful, in fact, a major development impact in the Federation and by implication the currency union and for the long haul. And from time to time, so you must respect your governance arrangements and from time to time review them and update them. So that's my first point. Governance matters. My second is this. The business is in skills. The business is in skills. So I'm going to try to play cool now as one of these youngsters, and I will say the biz is in skills. And I'm saying the biz with a Z and the skills with a Z. The biz is in skills. So where am I going with this? Well, our world is increasingly a digital world. In fact, data is the currency of the 21st century. The World Bank has projected that the digital economy will be responsible for at least 25% of global GDP within the next couple of years. And I see estimates that show that that could be as early as 2022. And then there's a rapid trajectory in terms of the digital economy. This digital economy requires skills. What skills? Basic digital skills such as web research, online communication, and online platforms, and very important, digital financial services. Those are basic digital skills. Everybody must have those. If we want to democratize financial services, we have to make technology available, financial inclusion, we have to put it at people's fingertips, typically with their smartphone. Basic digital skills. But then there are middle-level digital skills, skills like digital graphic design and marketing and social media management. And I heard the Prime Minister on a previous occasion speak of the role of social media in the virtual campaign a few months ago. But then there are advanced level digital skills, skills like coding, software and app development, network management, machine learning, big data analysis, the Internet of Things, cyber security, very important, and blockchain technology. In this regard, I want to commend the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for the step taken, or the decision made, to introduce coding in schools. I'm not sure if it has started. I know it has been determined that you're going to go in that direction, and I want to actively encourage you to move there in the shortest possible time. You're a leader, lead it. Others will follow. Coding in our schools. But skills are not just digital. We also need the soft skills. Collaboration, leadership, teamwork. When you work on these projects, you have to work together. You have to help each other. It's not a Lone Ranger business. It's not the brightest go for him or herself and get the highest mark and then say, well, you know, a bright and so on and so on. You're going to collaborate to get it done together. And that is what this forces. It also encourages our students to be curious and adventurous. Not crammers and passers of exam, because that ultimately does not serve us well. And you see the difficulty, if you don't believe me, when you get into the workplace and people have real issues applying what they've learned. That is where STEAM comes from, because STEAM brings all of these skills together. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Very importantly. But I want to expand STEAM a little more. And I want to take a little license and add an E to STEAM. And that E is for entrepreneurship. Now I know the art's supposed to have entrepreneurship in there, but I want to single out entrepreneurship. So I am spelling STEAM with an E after the M. Why is that important? Because I want to make this submission to you, that as we build out the digital economy, Prime Minister, we have to ensure that our people are not mere consumers of digital services. We have to be producers of digital services. And if we are going to be producers of digital services and engage in meaningful digital trade, we have to have entrepreneurship at core. We have to have entrepreneurship at core. It is not just enough to be, this is interesting and this is wonderful learning. It has to go somewhere and lead to foreign exchange, and lead to jobs, and lead to real opportunities for people to build homes and build families and build their country and our region. So I want to emphasize entrepreneurship. And I also want to say to you, from all that I've seen so far in terms of the surveys, STEM jobs, STEAM jobs, earn more than non-STEM or non-STEAM jobs. At least 26% more. Some surveys show even higher. So young people, chances are you could earn a good living. I have seen some numbers which suggest that with a coding job, depending on where you are, you could easily earn $3,000 a month, US dollars a month, for certain coding once you have the, and coding you could learn in 6 months, say. And the good thing about it is that you already speak English, we speak English. So 6 months, 12 months, you could actually have coding certification after coming out of, say, a boot camp and be in a position to earn. So I want to reiterate, the biz is in skills. And here's my third and final. Digitization is essential to the transformation of our region. No surprise. And many studies show the direct link between technology and its adoption and GDP. Before COVID, we were targeting a 5% growth rate in the currency union. And we were doing around 3%. Some countries a little more than that and so on. In the right direction, and frankly, better than most countries in the region, with few exceptions. But of course, hurricanes in 2017, and we bounced back after 17, and then now COVID has set us back. In fact, this year, we're going to contract the regional economy by at least 15%, 1.5. And we've indicated the range is between 10 and 15. Our latest numbers, 10 and 20, our latest numbers show a contraction of around 15%, 1.5. So if we're going to transform, if we're going to change that trajectory, remember what I said? Can't change history, can't change geography, but we can change trajectory. we're going to have to use technology to help us to do that. Innovation is the key. Why pursue innovation? Well, William Brodiak, American scientist, says, what is the calculus of innovation? The calculus of innovation is really quite simple. Knowledge drives innovation, innovation drives productivity, productivity drives economic growth. And so as we think about how we're going to cope as a region, we need to deploy technology.
In support of his call for the region to deploy technology and innovation to drive national development and economic growth, Governor Antoine outlined some of the steps the ECCB has taken and plans to take to use digitization to transform the region.
Over the last 4 years, the ECCB has provided 2 scholarships every year for students from the ECCU, graduating from our community or state colleges, to go and attend the SPICE program. SPICE stands for Student Program for Innovation in Science and Engineering, delivered through the Caribbean Science Foundation. Every year, 2 students from the ECCU. A couple years ago, we had Roger from Nevis. And every year, we look for students from around, must be ECCU, or 8 members. And we continue to do that. This year, it was done virtually, but again, we did it, and we had 2 more students. In that highly sought program, every summer, students are exposed to university-level classes in calculus, physics, computer programming, electronics, biochemistry, and entrepreneurship. They also benefit from career guidance from luminaries in the field, the STEAM field. And they also get help with their CV preparation to apply to the top level universities. Many of these graduates are now attending the Ivy League universities, Stanford, MIT, Virginia Tech, on and on and on. Secondly, we've launched our Bright Sparks program. Our Bright Sparks program is an internship program where, again, we look for students, Dr. Neil would be familiar with that, in our colleges, our state colleges, community colleges. They do a project, a member of our team, minister's former colleagues, would go in, look at the projects, and make a recommendation to us. And having seen the pitch, we would choose. So far, 5 students from the Currency Union, 2 from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, have in fact been Bright Sparks. And here is the good news. They've not only come and done their 6 months or 1 year, every one of them is now on permanent staff of the central bank. And essentially, they will stay there until they go off to do advanced studies, which we are encouraging them to do. In the meantime, some of them are doing certification in various programs. So that's the Bright Sparks program. And then I want to mention, and Minister mentioned it earlier, our digital cash project. The ECCB will soon become one of the first central banks in the world to launch a digital fiat currency. We are digitizing our EC dollar. I'm very clear. You cannot digitize a society and an economy and not digitize the currency. This is very strategic thinking. And we recognize if we ultimately are going to lead digitization and digital transformation, we also have to touch, perhaps start with what everybody touches on a daily basis, our currency. And so we're leading off on that. And very soon you will hear that launch and you will see that in real time. And there's significant benefits, lowering the cost of business, lowering the cost of payments, enhanced security, among other things. Look for that. And then the final initiative I will mention, there are others, but I want to be short, Digital Transformation Project. This is a project with the World Bank, $94 million US project, several of our member countries, which was approved in June of this year. Prime Minister Harris, you were in Washington when we sat down, and you gave great support for that project then. And it's pleasing to see, a year later, we've actually had the project approved, and we're getting ready to basically start implementation. That project will do several things, including e-government, enabling e-government services, making government more accessible to people, faster, cheaper. It also includes access to other services. When I think of blockchain, and by the way, the digital cash that I mentioned, or Bright Sparks, some of them have been working on that project as well. But when I think about blockchain, I'm not just thinking about currency. I'm thinking about health and what we could do with our health records to improve healthcare in this region, Currency Union and in the Federation, with the use of blockchain to help us. Look at what Estonia has done. Look at what Cape Verde has done. Look at what Rwanda has done, a country that was almost a failed state, post-conflict. The use of technology has changed the narrative in that country. Today, people are going to the country to see what they are doing and how they're doing it and what they've accomplished. The power of technology. So, let me conclude by saying it is no secret that we are at an inflection point in our region. The COVID-19 has given us a serious body blow. But, as we've said from the outset, there are unprecedented challenges, but so also are unprecedented opportunities. And it's up to us to seize those opportunities. And so I want to say in closing that the ECCB stands with the St. Kitts Nevis Robotics Association. I want to urge you to go forward, and yes, Dr. Neil, to form the OECS Association. And we will help you do that, working with the OECS Commission, because that will strengthen our hand to help you. Because we are a regional institution, we have to always look at the regional, it's a regional mandate. So we have to be careful with, we're not national focus, our focus is regional. So I want to wish the association every success as you move forward, and rest assured that you have in the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank an ally and a partner to work with you.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects anytime, any place at your convenience, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at ECCB Connects.
We've come to the end of this week's episode of ECCB Connects. Thanks for watching, and we invite you to join us again next week for another program.